I'm your host, Seaman Spurley. Joining me, I have a familiar voice and a new visitor today. We got Petty Officer Raven Harding, as well as Mr. John Mahone from the NAF Safety Office, and they're going to talk about both United Through Reading and an upcoming event they got going on. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Doing wonderful.
Alrighty, I guess we'll start off with our regular topic. What is United Through Reading?
United Through Reading, my favorite. It is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to uniting U.S. military families together, whether through separation through TDYs, deployments, just anything you can think of. So what I'm trying to promote is people to take advantage of this program. Especially with the runway closure coming up, I know people, especially the Air Force side, is going to go TDY, and I would like them to come and record themselves reading to their children, to their spouses, to their maybe cousins back in the States. I'm trying to promote this before it gets shut down.
Alrighty, and so what does a regular session look like, I guess?
You come in, you can either bring your book, or I have a wide selection of books. You pick a book, we will set up the camera. It will be completely just you and the camera reading. You go ahead and read. You can put a personal message in there. You can come in and read a Harry Potter book, like a chapter at a time. You can read literally any book you want. We have several languages as well. And we would go ahead, once you're done, we would put it on a disc, and you would have all the packaging stuff if you wanted to mail it. If your family's here and you're the one leaving, you just bring it home, give it to your spouse, and then they play it when you're gone.
Alrighty, and so if this is something that interests us, it sounds like a pretty awesome service, especially, like you said, because people are going to be going TDY, they're going to be away from their families and stuff. How do we get in contact with you?
You can call me at 226-3369, or send me an email at raven.harding, which is HARDING, at fe.navy.mil.
Alrighty. And then is there anything else you wanted to say about United Through Reading?
We are having extremely low participation, and I'm trying to keep this open, but if we do not have participation soon, it will be closed. And I know this is all free. This is a great opportunity. Even if you're not going TDY for the runway closure, you're going to eventually go TDY. Everybody goes TDY. We're in the military. You are going to need something for your family to stay connected to you, because there's not always going to be the time where you can call home or Skype or video chat, any of that stuff. And your maybe 1 month old, maybe 5 month old, maybe 5-year-old wants to see you. They want to hear your voice. And this is a great way to stay connected. It makes you coming home a lot easier. It's almost like you were not gone. So please get in contact with me so we can keep this program open.
Alrighty. Switching gears a little bit now, we've got we've got an upcoming event from the NAF Safety Office, and so what exactly is going to be going on?
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Well, on the 25th of May, from 09 to 1300 over at Hangar 963, the NAF Misawa Safety Department will be hosting the 23rd Annual Safety Fair. And there's going to be various activities pertaining to safety and, other things going on. I would like to extend an invitation to everyone, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, whoever's on the base, civilians, MLCs, come out and explore and allow us to have a good event coming this, the 25th. Because the safety fair is basically, it kind of coincides with the Memorial Day holiday, okay? So in between Memorial Day and Labor Day, there's about 101 days. And unofficially, Memorial Day tends to kick off the summer holidays.
The summer season.
Right, the summer season. So it's getting warm. People want to get outside and stuff, and get out and do a lot of things. According to the Safety Center, the Navy Safety Center, and this is just some statistics from 2015. During that time, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, there were about 14 sailors and 12 Marines that lost their lives between those dates. And some of the things that happened to those personnel were basically from motor vehicle accidents and water-related activities. People probably canoeing, boating, and the likes. But also a lot of the other high-risk activities out there, especially when it's dealing with water sports, people are also traveling. What you want to do is always have a good plan, okay? Have a good plan when you're going out to do things, because if you have a plan and you kind of stick to the plan, it kind of reduces the chances of things happening to you. And then also when you're out there on the road, okay, don't be a distracted driver.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now we all have these smartphones, and I'm one to tell you, these things are attached to people's hands. Not only in vehicles, also, while walking.
Yeah.
So it's always a good idea to be safe. People be out there barbecuing. One of the things while you're out there barbecuing, make sure if you're barbecuing, make sure you cook all your meat, especially beef, pork, and chicken. You know why? Because if you don't, you have a high chance of probably getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a good idea to do that. But remember, have a plan. Also, during the summertime, it's going to start getting hot. So what's a good thing to do? Hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And then try to enjoy your summer the best you can.
Yeah. Was there anything else you want to say about this safety fair? When is it going to be again, and where is it going to be?
Well, it's going to be May 25th over at Hangar 963.
Hangar 963.
Right, and it's going to kick off from 09, and then it'll end at 1300.
Alrighty, so from 09 to 1300, they'll be over in Hangar 963, giving out all the safety tips you're going to need to have a fun but safe summer.
Yes, exactly.
Alrighty, so make sure you guys come on out.
And like I said, everybody's invited. Everyone on the base.
Okay, so it's not just a Navy thing or anything. This is free and open to everyone.
Yes, it's a people thing.
Alrighty, awesome. We're going to take a quick music break, and then when we come back, we'll have even more for you. So keep on listening to the Captain's Call Radio Hour right here on the Eagles Break. I have Petty Officer McDowell, and he's going to talk to us all about drug education for youth. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Spurley?
I'm doing pretty good. So what exactly is drug education for youth?
So Drug Education for Youth is the year-long command-sponsored drug and alcohol reduction, life skills, and mentoring program for 9 to 12-year-olds. Essentially, the program is all paid for by CNO. We get our funding from there, so it's no cost to the parents, no cost for the kids. We have our summer camp set up from 24 to 27 July and 31 July to 3 August. And we're still looking for kids. We're actively recruiting, actively enrolling.
Alrighty. And so what are some of the things that you guys talk about at this camp?
So the first camp is called our leadership camp. It discusses, we go over things, my flag. So there's a section about the U.S. flag and its inception and it and how it's moved along and progressed. The drug and alcohol reduction information. So what illegal drugs and legal drugs that are also try to resist those.
Yeah. Alrighty, and then that's drugs aren't the only thing you guys talk about.
Not at all. So we have other life skills and programs, organization, just healthy eating, healthy living. Yeah,
I was actually did a story on the camp last year, and they did a bunch of really cool stuff. They talked about bullying and stuff like that, and then they also went on some really cool field trips to the Space Center and stuff.
Right. Yeah, we did. We had 3 field trips. One was over to the Misawa Space Center. The other one we went out to the MWDs, and they put on a demo for us. And we also went over and the kids got to take a look at an EA-18. Awesome. and check out the gear, check out the plane.
Yeah, alrighty. And what we've mostly been talking about is just this camp, but you said it's a year-long program. So what happens after that?
Right. So roughly about a month after camp, probably beginning of September, we're going to move into our phase 2, and that's more of the mentoring. So we'll hit on some of the same topics we talked about in phase 1, but we have a more in-depth curriculum, and there's a lot more time for activities, more time that the kids spend with the adults in a more of a one-on-one setting.
I see. And so this sounds like a pretty awesome program. If I was interested in getting my kids involved, how would I go about doing that?
So you can contact me at 226-4095 or donald.mcdowell@fe.navy.mil. That's donald.mcdowell@fe.navy.mil. Or defy Misawa at defymisawa@gmail.com.
Alrighty. And then when is the program going to, I guess, kick off for this year?
So the official phase 1 kicks off July 24th.
July 24th.
Once the roughly 3 weeks or so before that kickoff date, we'll have a parent orientation where we'll bring in all the parents, explain to them, provide them certain information, their resource guide, their orientation guide, and prepare the kids so they can prepare their kids to come out and have a good time for the summer and then, through the rest of the year.
Alrighty. So is the 24th, is there a deadline or is it just like up until the 24th?
Roughly the deadline needs to be by the end of next week. So if anyone in the past has contacted me or anyone is in the future looking for this, contact me at those email addresses or that telephone number. We'll set up to get your application turned in so we can move forward and, have a great summer, have a great season for the Defy this year.
Alrighty. So if you guys are interested in the Defy program, again, you can contact Petty Officer McDowell and just get your kids involved in this really awesome, fun, and informational program. We're going to take another quick music break, and we'll have more for you right here on the Captain's Call Radio Hour on the Eagle 1575. Bird with Love Bites. You're listening to the Captain's Call Radio Hour here on the Eagle 1575. And during this break, I'm here with Petty Officer Protein, and he's going to talk to us all about non-combatant evacuation operations, or NEO. How you doing today?
Good. Doing really well.
Alrighty, so I have no idea what this is. So what exactly is NEO?
Okay, so NEO, like you said, for the abbreviation is called non-combatant evacuation operation. What it really entails is just that if something was to happen, a good example would be the 2011 events of the tsunami. We would actually want to evacuate all the people that's here on the base here, our families. That's basically what the program was actually made up for, to kind of just get them out of harm's way and kind of have us be able to focus on what we need to do. If it's cleaning up, or in some cases if it's like hostile civil unrest, one of those things. Those are some of the reasons that we would actually invoke or implement NEO for. It is regulated by the U.S. State Department, so usually when actually that comes down, we would actually be told by them, hey, you guys can go ahead and invoke NEO.
Okay. And so it's pretty much just to move like your families and stuff out of harm's way.
Yes.
Alrighty. And so I guess, can you tell us a little more about how you go about doing that?
Well, these packages that we have, there's normally a folder. It's about a 6-part folder that has like a lot of pertinent information in it. Like depending on the family, of course, it's going to actually be it's going to go along the lines of things from the pets to like their child's birth certificate to their orders that they have come in here, furniture, anything that they own. Temporary mail disposition, all this, like it's basically your whole life and your family's life in this little folder that when you go through the processing lines that you be set up by the Air Force, a lot of time what will happen is that they will go through, verify that everything is there. They'll issue you like your evacuation orders, and you either get on a plane, you go to your repatriation center, which can either be somewhere here in Japan, depending on what would be the cost to actually implement NEO, or it's going to be stateside.
Okay, so a NEO package is all the things you need to have if this happens.
So some examples would be if you have pets, you're going to want to have all of their shot records. You're going to want to have any medical paperwork for them. For your family, there's a lot. If you're married, you want to have a marriage certificate, divorce certificate, school records. You want to have dental records, everything that covers your kids, passports, CAT cards, the dependent IDs, all that stuff. You're gonna want to have that consolidated in one spot, making it easy for when you go through the processing line that they'll just check everything off as you go through. and kind of get you on your way.
Alrighty. And so that's kind of like a lot of stuff that you need to have.
Yes.
So I guess where could we go to find like this info, like of what we need to have ready?
For one, you can actually contact the Airmen Family Readiness Center. Master Sergeant Serrano is the NEO coordinator for the base. So usually what will happen is that we will actually coordinate with him. He's like our single point of contact. Like if he gets the word that NEO has been invoked, usually he would pass it down to coordinators both Air Force and Navy side. So that would be our point of contact. So be a starting point.
Alrighty. But is there like a website or anything where we can see all the info that we need to have in these packages, or would we just like get in contact with the coordinator to find out?
It would be from the coordinator.
Alrighty. And so how could, like, I guess if you take care of all the Navy people, how can the Navy people get in touch with you?
They can easily contact me at my office. It's to the air code 226-3369, or they can actually email me at steven.protein@fe.navy.mil.
Alrighty. And then so that's just for if you have a family or anything, you definitely need to have all this ready in case anything happens so that you can get them out of harm's way.
It actually makes it a whole lot easier for them if this is actually done and they have all this stuff, because it cuts down on so much time, because during that time when you're actually in a real life emergency situation, you're not going to want to think about, well, where did I put this or where did I put that? You would be more concerned as to, all right, if I grab this bag that has everything in it, or I have this folder that has everything in this information, it cuts away from a lot of that stress of having to think about where you put everything, versus I have everything right here. I can just go through this process and kind of just focus on the well-being of my pets or my kids or my family on a whole. For service members, it also kind of gives us a little bit of ease, because I mean, we live in an environment where we can just get a call, we got to be out the door. So a lot of times what happens was that if we have that peace of mind that our family is not really in harm's way there where they can actually be hurt, it helps us to focus on what we need to do as well too. So I feel it's like it's also like kind of a good thing for both.
Yeah. Alrighty. Was that all you had for us?
Yes, that is all I have to do today.
Okay, awesome. We're going to take another quick music break then, and then we're going to keep on moving our hour right here on the Eagle 1575. It's currently 7:36, and right now I'm here with Petty Officer Randall, and he's going to talk to us all about an event we got coming up to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So what exactly do you have for us?
All right, so the Asian American Pacific Islander Month is for the whole month of May. NAF is going to be holding our first event on May 26th at 11 o'clock, and it's going to be in a training classroom at Building 980. And I'll be the point of contact for that. If you have any other questions or anything, I'll be sending out an email for it, and my phone number is 226-4415.
Alrighty, and this is open to everyone, correct?
It is open to anyone at NAF.
Okay, alrighty. And so, do you have any idea of kind of some of the things that are going to be going on?
It's going to be a presentation and a PowerPoint. We're going to be speaking and talking about those famous Asian American Pacific Islanders who have done great things in our Navy and in our Department of Defense. And right afterwards, we're going to have a potluck-style food.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. I know some of the Pacific Islander cuisine is pretty fantastic.
I mean, who doesn't like lumpia?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. But when is this going to be again?
It is going to be on May 26th at 11 o'clock.
Alrighty, and then you said you're the POC for this, so if we want more info, how would we go about getting in contact with you?
You can go ahead and email me at joshua.riondo@fe.navy.mil, or go ahead and contact me at 226-4415.
Alrighty, is that all you had for us?
That is it.
Alrighty, we're going to get back to music then, here on the Eagle 1575, and we'll have even more for the Captain's Call Radio Hour, so make sure you guys keep on listening. No Speedwagon with Take It on the Run. You're listening to the Captain's Call Radio Hour right here on the Eagle 1575. And right now I have joining me CMC Schneider, and he's got a lot to talk about today. So we're just going to get right into it. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. It's really not that much so people aren't intimidated and they don't turn off the radio and say, oh, it's Master Chief, he's going to talk for 45 minutes. I promise to keep it short. Right off the top, let's talk about some things that apply to senior enlisted personnel in the Navy, because we really rarely address them. But first, the Navy, as well, most of you are probably aware, we halted the E9 selection board back in April because of some concerns with the board possibly being compromised. Yesterday, or 2 days ago now, a NAV admin came out that released the dates for the new board, which will be 24 July through the 4th of August. So if you are an E8 and you're waiting to hear whether you got selected for E9 or not, please take the time to pull down and read NAV admin 111 of 2017, and that explains everything in terms of whether or not you need to submit any additional information or not. So for all the E8s out there, also for the chiefs and senior chiefs that are out there who now need to take the Senior Enlisted Academy course of instruction. There were some changes that are being rolled out in that curriculum as well. They are essentially reducing the course length from 9 weeks to 7 weeks of the distance learning stuff, because about 3 years ago they took it from all in-resident stuff in Newport, Rhode Island, to the bulk of the material being non-resident stuff that you do online, followed by a short stint up there in Newport, Rhode Island. And in what I would consider a fairly dramatic move, they have reduced the course length overall. I don't know whether that's going to, in my mind, that would make it a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of additional hours required for the non-resident portion while you're here, but it is going to allow them to have more classes per calendar year. So for anybody that's interested in the Senior Enlisted Academy, pull down NAV Admin 109 of 2017 and get smart on that. Speaking of advancement potential, let's just
yes.
Good. The Navy E4 through E6 advancement results should be out here in the next couple of weeks. Generally, the Navy sets the Memorial Day weekend as a target for having released the advancement results. They haven't come out with a message yet or any kind of notification saying, on May 24th at 23:59 Eastern Standard Time kind of thing,
Yeah.
But here in the next couple of weeks, we should get those advancement results. But what I wanted to remind folks is that, if you're waiting for the advancement results to come out before you start studying for the advancement exam again, you've just essentially eliminated 2 months of study time from the 6-month interval that you have between tests. So please, please, please do not wait until the advancement results are released before you start studying again, because as you know, the biggest single contributor in that advancement algorithm is still your test score. So you need to keep studying and you need to be aggressive about that. All right. Changing topics completely. The Single Sailor Program, right, run by Mr. Mick Holtz over in Building 543. He wasn't able to come on the radio this morning and talk to you guys, but I promised him that I would plug some of the things that he's got coming up. I'll tell you, I look at the stuff that he offers, and I wish that we had had some program like this when I was a young single sailor, because it's just a phenomenal program over there. So the first thing, the most important thing that I want to mention is that he is running for single and unaccompanied sailors a trip down to Fuji and Fuji-Q on the 27th through the 30th of July, right? However, the tickets go on sale on the 1st of June, and the reason he's waiting until the 1st of June to sell tickets is because he wants to make sure that everybody has a fair share or a fair stake, getting the information, making sure that they're aware, collect their money, and just be ready, standing outside his door in the queue, ready to go. Because once the tickets for that trip go on sale, I'm sure they're going to go fast, right?
Yeah.
So 1 June is the date to have all of your ducks in a row. Your leave request approved, your money in hand, and everything like that, and be over there ready to do it. Yeah. This month, on the 17th, they're doing they call them dining outs, if I'm not mistaken, where once a month he takes all the single and unaccompanied airmen, the E1 through E4 sailors, I think, are cost deferred. That's free, if I'm not mistaken, for some kind of a dinner at a local restaurant, just to get a taste of local flavor. And this month they're going to a restaurant called Rob Photons, which is a restaurant that I have never been to. From all the pictures on the flyer, it looks like a pretty nice place to go eat. So if you're interested in going out with a bunch of like-minded individuals for dinner at a local place, make sure you contact Mr. Mickholtz over there and get signed up. Later on, next month, they're running a tour down to, on the 3rd of June. Oh, it's the north. I said down. I should have said up. Right, to the northern parts of the island. They're going to Osore-san, which is Hell's Gates, which is lovely. If you've never been there, it's a fantastic place to go. Anyways, I in the interest of saving time, I won't tell you everything that they are doing over the next couple of months, but I'll tell you, he has some phenomenal things planned, and more importantly, they have that last minute Liberty thing over there. So, and for that, really, the sky's the limit. If you are an eligible recipient of their services, which means that if you're a single or unaccompanied sailor here in Japan, if you go over to him and let him know that you're interested in doing something, he has the van, he has a driver, the tour guides, the resources to just make that happen. And there isn't really a time constraint on that. So I mean, he could possibly do it the same day. I mean, that's not ideal, right? I don't suggest that you go over there at 2:00 in the afternoon and say, hey, at 4:00 a bunch of us would like to go to Aomori City to do this, right? Be cool and give them 24 hours notice, But really, that is the best element of his program, in my opinion. I mean, you said you decide, right? You are the master of your own destiny when it comes to that. So please take advantage of that. And then the last thing I'll mention on my way out is the boat regatta that the Navy puts on every year. This year it is scheduled for the 11th of August. That is a Friday. So if you are interested, it is not too early to start putting your boat together, making sure that it floats, and getting ready to compete in that event. So, and that's really it for me.
Alrighty, we're gonna get back to the music real quick. When we come back, though, we'll have Captain Henry himself with us here, Bruce Springsteen, with Dancing in the Dark. You're listening to the Captain Call Radio Hour right here on the Eagle 1575. And with me, I have Captain Keith Henry himself, and he's got some stuff to talk about. So we're just going to jump right into it. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yep. Alrighty, so just getting right on into it. What's the first thing you got for us?
Well, I mean, just kind of continuing the theme that Master Chief just left off with, and making sure people think about productive liberty options, kind of planning ahead. Single sailor program is a great program to do so. If for no other reason, then Mick will create the plan for you. I mean, you can either come in with a specific plan that he'll help you execute, or you can come in with no plan and just a calendar to work with, and he'll pull out his menu and make that happen. So encourage all our single sailors to get over there and look at his program and hopefully partake in it. But there's a lot of other things to do around base, off base. I love coming in here for your radio show for another reason. I get to flip through all your list of things going on.
Yeah.
Even if I listen to the radio, I'm probably not processing it all the time, but I can come in here and see all the great events going on base. FSS has a great roundup of things coming up as the weather warms up, and base beach opens up, and other things around base. So take a look at those options and really plan ahead. Volunteer organizations, there's plenty of them around base. So just get engaged with one of those, or get engaged with the local community. In the various organizations that are in and around. And then take a look at what's going on off base as the summer warms up here. There's a number of festivals that will be coming up in the spring and summertime. I won't necessarily go through all of them, but our PAO has taken the time to put some pretty good information about some of these festivals onto our Facebook page and keeps them fairly updated. They got the dates and times, the pictures as well, and not necessarily directions in the day of smartphones and navigation apps. They got the lat long there, so it makes it pretty easy to get there and back. So please take the time to take a look at that and see what options you have going on, and make sure that we continue to focus on the productive liberty options rather than destructive liberty options. So.
Yeah, there's more to do than just go out to the local bars and stuff.
Exactly. And then Memorial Day is to kind of reiterate what our safety officer talked about. Obviously, tends to be a drinking related holiday. So just keep the focus there in terms of productive liberty options. And then I think equally important when we talk Memorial Day is I just want to reiterate the safety point that he puts out. Memorial Day, a lot of people view it as the beginning of summer. Which leads to a lot of outdoor activities, off-duty recreation, and aside from the sailors that fly in airplanes, off-duty recreation still continues to be the number one killer of sailors in the Navy. So we got to continue to focus on that safety piece and make sure that people aren't just going crazy and doing things they shouldn't off-duty. I'm not just talking about boating accidents, things like that. I'm talking about motor vehicle accidents as well. So as the weather warms up and people are getting out and about more, they need to do it safely with that focus on making sure they come back alive with 10 fingers and 10 toes. So please keep that focus as you're heading in. I'll continue that theme, just reiterating a couple of the earlier speakers. Ellen One talked about DEFY, Drug Education for Youth. That's an excellent program. It's run and financed by OpNav, so an officially endorsed Navy program, and it's 100% a family support program. And so if our families aren't taking advantage of it, then they're missing out. Great reviews from everybody who participated in it last cycle. Last cycle starting in the middle of last summer, and then continuing on at a lower rate throughout the school year. And it's really a great avenue to teach. Not just important values when it comes to drugs and other temptations, but it also gives our future young adults tools to deal with, challenging social situations they're going to be put in as they grow up, and being able to make the right choice based upon those tools that they're given. So please, I encourage everybody to really think seriously about signing their 9 to 12 years olds up for that program. And Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. What I was hoping you'd talk about is a little bit of heritage. So I'll throw that out. Obviously there's, when you talk Asia Pacific, you're talking about a great number of heritages that are out there, and but being in the Navy, one that I bring up every year, not just because there's a great kids movie made about it this year, but because it does relate directly to the Navy. I grew up on the East Coast, and the general thought there was that the title of greatest navigator in the world was, a competition between a handful of ancient Europeans. And then I moved out to the West Coast and further out into the Pacific and realized that was a fallacy. The Europeans, until really only a handful of 100 years ago, were very challenged to navigate the open ocean. Conversely, you come out here to the Pacific and realize the Polynesians have been navigating the open ocean for thousands of years, and they did it through very basic techniques that as Western or European technology made it out to the Pacific, transplanted that, and they actually lost that ability to navigate. So it was a very great achievement that they had for thousands of years that ended up populating a lot of the islands. So really. Very important part of Asian Pacific Islander heritage, and then that translates into part of where we are as a Navy. So that's why I bring that up, just to not necessarily highlight that one, but just to encourage everybody who is not of Asian Pacific Islander heritage to talk to those who are, and kind of learn more, not just about them, but about their heritage and the great things that come from their culture that are extremely interesting. So please take the time to do that this month. So. I also want to just mention that 2 days ago we had Vice Admiral Jackson, who's the commander of Navy Installations Command, stop in at Misawa. She's only here for about 3 hours, but just took over as that commander last month, and is on a whirlwind tour hitting all the Navy bases around the world. So trying to see what everything's about, and she was very happy with what she saw here in Misawa. Nothing's changed since she took over. Still focused on the fleet, fighter, and family. Sustaining the fleet, enabling the fighter, and supporting the family. And I think she sees that everything we're doing here is doing just that. So she was very appreciative of everything that everybody's doing out here to keep the fleet going. So. And then, one thing that one line of discussion that she kept coming back to was just how her enterprise, CNIC, is aligned with what the CNO is trying to do. And so that led me to think maybe I'll just take a few minutes reminding everybody about the CNO's design for maintaining maritime superiority and what that's all about. I always encourage people to read those periodically, and I know they don't, so I'll force you to listen to me for 60 seconds as I give you the Reader's Digest version. The two important things out of that are that he talks about core attributes and lines of effort. The core attributes that he talks about does not replace our core values. They're just more, daily guiding principles that we can use to better refine our actions. And those are integrity, accountability, initiative, and toughness. So those are the four core attributes that CNO is really pushing these days. And then lines of effort, which... once again, don't change the operational strategic direction the Navy is heading in, but just kind of refines what we're trying to do as we move forward and as we try to improve our advantage over our potential adversaries. And those four lines of effort are strengthening naval power at and from the sea, achieving high velocity learning at every level, strengthening our Navy team for the future, and expanding and strengthening our network of partners. So, as I said, those four lines of effort, as well as the four core attributes, are really just him trying to accelerate the pace at which we're improving our potential abilities over any potential adversaries. So that's an important review that is still outstanding. There came out almost 2 years ago, so it's worth refreshing periodically. So. And then final thing I want to close with is a reminder that Mother's Day this weekend. So please take time to honor that day appropriately and be thankful.
Alrighty. That's all you had for us today, sir?
That's all I got today.
Alrighty, thanks for coming in. We know you're pretty busy over there in NAF. We appreciate you taking the time to come over here and just make sure all the sailors are up to date with everything that they should be.
All right, well, thanks for having me and the rest of the sailors who talked this morning.
Alrighty, we're going to get back to the music now on the Eagle